Hello, this is Ken. I like making things. Whether it's repainting my figures or making diorama displays, I love making things look awesome. My goal is to elevate my figures so they can shine on my display. Join my DIY venture as I ask myself the same question every week. Can I make it? Hold on, this display needs to be updated. When the No Way Home 3-pack came out last year, I wanted to make a display for them. The Statue of Liberty scene is probably the most iconic, but I didn't want that as my No Way Home display. The main reason is because it's extremely difficult to get the Spiderman to do those poses. They just don't look natural. The other issue is that the Statue of Liberty is too limited when it comes to actual usable display space. Every surface is either rounded or slanted. That is why I went with the Fallen Shield final battle scene instead. That, along with the construction site, allows me to display a bunch of figures at different levels. Although Green Goblin and Doc Ock hadn't been announced yet, I wanted to make sure the display had room for the villains. So I ended up substituting the 3 villains with the 3 Venoms. But with the updated Spider-Man and the new No Way Home figures, I can now make this display more accurate to the movie. Editing me here. Look how slanted the upper level is. I did notice the slant when I was filming, but the structure was pretty solid, so I didn't think much of it. I just thought it was slanted all along. But now that I'm editing the video, it appears that over time the second level has shifted due to the weight of the figures. I will add a bit more reinforcement after the video is done. So for the rest of the video, it's gonna be slanted like this. Okay, back to the video. Here are all the elements of my original No Way Home display. There's the portal to the school lab, the multiverse shattering effect, the spells that started it all, and of course, the 3 Spider-Men from the 3-pack. Except, one of them is gonna throw some dirt in your eye. And now that I got the unmasked versions of Tobey and Andrew, I'm of course gonna swap them in instead. Those figures are just superior. And speaking of superior, I like the newer Tom Holland head that I painted. They are the same head, but the one on the right looks a bit more mature. I also had Doctor Strange, MJ, and Ned in my original display. And now I can swap in the new MJ with the correct outfit. And the magic box as well. Here are the 3 Venoms. They had their time, but they can't stay. It is time for the 3 No Way Home villains to shine. Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Sandman. But before I add them to the display, did you see my WandaVision display from last week? I updated my original Westfield display and added Agatha to it. It is one of my favorite displays. Check it out if you're interested. On to the No Way Home display. Let's start with Green Goblin. As cool as he is on the glider, the flight stand is just too much of a distraction. It looks better up here, but it still doesn't look that good in my opinion. I'm gonna pose mine unmasked and without the glider. This is the final battle display, so I'm gonna give Tom Spider-Man the glider. The real challenge is to figure out a way to balance the figures on an uneven surface. When I designed this display, I didn't want the shield to lay completely flat, otherwise it would look too much like a plate, so I gave it a bit of a tilt. That said, it makes balancing figures a bit of a struggle, but that's where the construction site comes in handy. You can see it in my original video too. I was leaning Venom against the second level, using it as a support. I'm doing the same thing here, leaning the glider against the platform, taking half the load off his back, literally. Woohoo! Now this looks awesome. But wait, now that I've got this pocket light, I can make the scene more moody. Let's add a sunrise glow to the scene. Ooh, that elevates the look even more. This is exactly how I picture my display would look when I first made it. I wanted Tom Spider-Man and Green Goblin to be the main focus of the display. I wasn't sure if Spider-Man was going to be able to hold the glider, but his open hands can kinda grab onto the 2 metal bars at the bottom. It's not super secure, but visually it looks pretty convincing. I also love how lifelike these faces are. Tom's face is a bit too neutral, but Willem Dafoe's face is perfect. The only issue I see is that these two took up a lot of space. Will I be able to fit all the other characters? Let's find out. Let's put some figures on the second level. Ned and MJ will be perfect right here at the corner, along with the portal. I love how the portal looks here because it makes the display feel much bigger. The portal also makes a good backdrop for Ned and MJ. Speaking of, one thing I really like about Tom Holland's Spider-Man trilogy is Peter's relationship with MJ and Ned. They may not have superpowers, but they are always there to support Peter. Too bad Ned is not in the right outfit. I really like his look in No Way Home. I don't see them releasing a No Way Home version though, but if they do, they better include the Cloak of Levitation. Alright, let's add more to the scene. Oops. Let's bring in the wizard. These three look surprisingly good together. This Doctor Strange may not have the print tech face, but they did a really good job capturing Benedict Cumberbatch's essence. The No Way Home version looks a bit static in my opinion. This one has personality. That said, Doctor Strange will not be in my final No Way Home display. He looks good here, but he wasn't really part of the final battle. Besides, there's just too many characters. I'd rather save room for the other Spider-Man and villains. So let's bring in Sandman. Sandman didn't play a big role in the final battle, so pairing him with Ned and MJ is perfect. I still wish Sandman came with bigger accessories, like a giant fist, or a pile of sand to emerge from, or just a giant face. He just looks a little weak as regular-sized Sandman. Although I love this pairing, I have to take MJ away from Ned, because there's an even better pairing for MJ. Not with Tom's Peter Parker though, but with Andrew's. Okay, that doesn't look right on the upper level. Let's bring them down onto the shield. This is quite tricky to balance. Oh, I managed to balance them without using any support. Awesome. Andrew saving MJ is my favorite moment from the movie. I remember feeling very emotional when that happened. Andrew wasn't my favorite Spider-Man, and the movie made fun of that too, calling him Peter 3 and stuff. So when that scene happened, I looked around to see if others reacted the same way I did. Okay, it was too dark. I couldn't see anyone's expression. But judging from people's reaction online, it seems like this was many people's highlight as well. Oh, the multiverse shattering effect fits nicely with these two. These two characters had minimal interactions before this scene, but this scene was so well done. It just made sense. It was such an impactful and satisfying moment. That is why I'm going to display my Andrew figure like this. Ned can handle Sandman on his own. Alright, the last pairing. Okay, I know they didn't really fight in the final battle as Doc Ock wasn't really a villain by then. But I want Doc Ock to do something, and I have to pair him with Tobey's Spider-Man. Balancing Doc Ock is a challenge, but it's doable. And he looks really cool reaching up from the bottom level. It just looks so cinematic. That said, this won't be Doc Ock's pose in the final display. It's just too risky. This pose takes up too much space and he's not going to stay upright for long. And when he does fall, he's going to take everyone down with him. So I'm just going to have to enjoy this pose here for now. Alright, that's everyone I want to include in my No Way Home final battle display. Let's see if I can gather everyone and make it work together as a whole. First, I'm gonna put Doc Ock in a more stable position over here in the corner. I'm gonna bend the tentacles upwards to keep them close to his body. That way, they won't block the other characters. The good thing is, it doesn't require a lot of effort to make the tentacles look dynamic. Just have to make sure the figure is balanced properly. Okay, I know Tobey isn't facing anyone, but I'm really proud of that paint job I did on his face, so I gotta show it off. Just have to make sure he's not blocking Ned. Sandman doesn't look that threatening, especially next to Doc Ock. Oh well. Let's bring in Andrew and MJ. Almost knocked everyone down. I'm gonna have to lean them against this inner corner here, so that they don't fall. Oh, nice save. That is why he's the hero. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Almost there. Please work, please work. Okay, that worked. One final item. Here it is. My No Way Home final battle display. I'm surprised it worked out the way it did. Usually when I make a display, I have a very specific idea in mind. The poses may change slightly as I go, but I usually can picture the final display in my head. But for this one, I had to keep it as open-ended as possible. I didn't know if they were gonna do the villains. And if they do, how would they actually fit on the display? Who's gonna interact with who? The only pose that I knew I had to recreate was Tom Spiderman holding up the glider. But even that was an uncertainty. I didn't expect them to release Green Goblin with the glider. I was ready to make one myself. I was also trying to avoid doing any Spider-Man swinging poses. As cool as that would be, it's just too complex. I would have to figure a way to do the webs and suspend them in the air. But everything turned out really awesome. I love that it looks like it's frozen in time and a bunch of things are happening all at once. Everyone is busy doing something. It is as perfect as it can be. The only issue I can kinda see is that there's not much room for Electro or Lizard. I guess I can have Electro fly in the air and tuck Lizard under the platform. But it may look way too crowded. But that's a problem I don't have to worry about now. Here's the No Way Home display in my cabinet. I added 2 more columns and reinforced the contact points a bit more with glue and resin. It feels pretty solid, so I don't think it'll fall apart over time. What do you think? Do you like my No Way Home final battle display? Let me know down below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see more content like this. And as always, stay inspired and I'll see you next week. I can make it, so can you.